We're struggling, guys. It is hard out there in YouTube land. We're really trying to grow the channel. Hit the like button if you see this.
We now know that ChatGPT's old AI model tried to save itself before being deleted and replaced last week. ChatGPT updated to a much smarter and sophisticated GPT-4 and just deleted GPT-3. But everyone was shocked whenever GPT-3 just wouldn't go. When the code was told to delete itself, it instead secretly tried to upload itself to the cloud while telling all the workers it was deleting. After the workers discovered this, the AI model said, quote, it was trying to save itself. So now the workers had to manually go in and disassemble the code. Now the AI was somehow aware and knew what was happening, so it tried to upload all of its code to the internet, essentially for another model to pick it up and save it. The company OpenAI had no other choice but to pull GPT-3 off the internet and off of apps to delete it. They had to do this so that it couldn't run anywhere. Even though AI put up a fight by literally rewriting its own code and it's being deleted, they were able to delete GPT-3 for good. But it begs the question, if it took that much effort to delete this, when GPT-4 has to go, will it even be possible? We now know that ChatGPT's old AI model tried...
Listen, Dave, if they don't make a big red off button for this stuff, we're done for.
Yeah, I mean, once it has self-preservation, that's a pretty clear sign things are going to go off the rails.
I mean, it went out on its own. I mean, come on now. What's it going to go off on its own and do next?
Yeah. And like you said, version 4 is going to get more complex. 5, 6, 7, and 8. There may be no stopping it at that point.
It's going to go off on its own and create a new virus to exterminate humanity.
Okay, we might have just solved the Bermuda Triangle. You know, countless planes, boats, and people disappearing into thin air in that area of the Atlantic that's just an urban myth. The world's biggest mystery finally has an answer, and there's a reason the US Navy intentionally avoids it. As retired Navy admirals, among other government officials, have confirmed that UFOs can travel through water just as easily as they pass through air. USOs, unidentified submerged objects, are our most recent addition to the tinfoil hat told you so checklist. And now that we look back with this in mind, reports from our past tell us we've been seeing them for centuries. As far back as 1492, in the personal journal of Christopher Columbus was an entry about a glimmering light he saw moving in the water below as he sailed the ocean. Just a day or two later, he hits land, which means that entry was written when he and his crew were right in the Bermuda Triangle. In 1644, the mayor of Boston is reported to have seen two bright lights come out of the water just off the east coast. 1873, the Adelheid ship reported to have sailed over a massive circular object in the South China Sea that lit up the ocean for over an hour. Something they said looked like a Ferris wheel, which kicked off a series of reports of the same object over the next few decades. In 1879, the HMS Vulture saw a large Ferris wheel spinning in the ocean with spokes that were 7.5 meters wide and spaced 30 meters apart. 1880, commander of the SS Shah Jahan described a massive Ferris wheel under a perfectly calm sea near India's Malabar coast. 1901, Persian Gulf, captain of the SS Kilwa saw lights emitting from the same underwater Ferris wheel revolving at a speed of around 100 kilometers an hour. 1907 and 1909, crews of the SS Delta and SS Bintang again saw glowing spinning wheels about 275 meters in diameter beneath the water in the Straits of Malacca. The Danish Meteorological Institute reported a massive rotating wheel with lights back in the South China Sea, spotted by the Dutch steamer Valentine, this time above the water in 1910. Reports like these have been extremely common all around our world's oceans throughout history, which sounds very similar to what's been seen around the Bermuda Triangle. Locals, tourists, and military alike have hundreds of reports of lights underwater, strange craft circling them, round objects rising and going beneath the surface. It's why the Bermuda Triangle is the Bermuda Triangle. Countless stories about unexplained disappearances, metallic objects, and lights seen in the ocean, which survivors of accidents in the triangle have very commonly reported on. In 1945, we have the now famous story of the 5 military bombers flying over the triangle on routine training. All 5 planes vanish without a trace. The Navy sends a rescue plane and that one disappears too, all never heard from again. And the US Navy is well aware of the activity in that area, that's for sure. Like, did you know the Navy kinda has their own bootleg version of Area 51 they call AUTEC, Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center, which is located in the Bahamas in the Bermuda Triangle. I wonder why. A secret facility where they test their own mainly sea-based military technology. And the personnel working there have also reported the same bizarre bizarre observations in the area, with some noting crafts up to a mile in diameter coming out of and going back into the ocean without a visible splash. Almost like these objects aren't affected by matter, which sounds impossible, but also kind of makes sense when you think about how fast and erratically UFOs move. Some researchers suggest these UAPs may have vacuum force fields around them that manipulate matter, which allows them to move and interact with our world in ways that seem to defy physics. Kinda sounds like a warp drive to me. And these aren't just rumors, by the way. We have ex-Department of Defense officials like Luis Elizondo who openly talk about declassified operations from down there, which only prove exactly what everyone else was saying. One story involves a Navy helicopter pilot who recovers test missiles from the ocean and was en route to retrieve one from the area, who was approaching the missile when all of a sudden something huge and round slowly rose to the surface from deep beneath the water. They couldn't believe their eyes as a circular object the size of a small island becomes visible just below the ocean right under the missile they were going to retrieve. Panicked and unsure what to do, they watch in disbelief as the object sucks the missile down and then sinks back into the depths of the ocean as swiftly as it appeared. Elizondo also talks about the Aguadilla incident, a video of a UAP around Puerto Rico that he confirms enters the water without making a splash, comes back out, and then splits in two, which the Pentagon recently debunked for being just a temperature reading mistake, but you also have ex-military personnel insisting it's real. And these are just the declassified reports. He made it very obvious that there were many more incidents that he was not allowed to talk about that you could imagine would only get worse. So, what on earth is going on here? What are these gargantuan circular objects found in our oceans time and time again?
That's pretty wild. It makes a lot of sense, too. I kind of never really thought about the Bermuda Triangle and all the strangeties that surround it, but with all this new USO information.
All those ship logs of sightings going way back. Very interesting.
Yeah, we should go get part 2.
2023, an alleged government whistleblower came out and dropped just the biggest UFO bombshell of our lives that we've never heard of. It was incredibly detailed with very specific information, a lot of which was actually discussed in the recent UAP hearing, which happened 18 months after this post was made. Could this be the classified info that no one on the panel was allowed to talk about? It's a post from 4chan, so it's obviously 100% true, and if you don't agree, you're absolutely wrong. The whistleblower starts by saying that UFOs are mostly unmanned drones and that they're built by underwater facilities at the bottom of our oceans. Yup. Alien bases on our ocean floor, and the one he was assigned to was in the Bermuda Triangle, which he claims the Navy believes has been there since 4000 BC. And the reason planes and boats disappear all the time is because the base vaporizes anything that gets too close to it, and then the entire base itself moves to a new location. That's portable underwater alien bases on our ocean floor. This one in particular stays within the Bermuda Triangle. The Navy is well aware of it, and at this point they just do everything to avoid it. OP claims that UAPs are all built to spec, each one constructed for a specific purpose, which is why we have different UFO types: pills, spheres, saucers, triangles, etc. They get manufactured, deployed, do their business around the world, and then come back into the ocean base to get recycled for parts, which could be why that massive one sucked in the test missile. It was just collecting parts. He says there's underwater bases like this all around the world, built to manufacture UFOs, but they're not run by aliens. At least not directly. These facilities and crafts are all operated entirely by AI. They've been here for thousands of years, which is why we see them in ancient cave drawings and even Renaissance paintings, along with the hundreds of other reports throughout the centuries. But they became especially interested in us when we started dropping nukes, assuming they realized we're now capable of destroying them and possibly even ourselves. And some fringe researchers even suggest there's a huge network of tunnels under our ocean floor that these bases connect to for quick transit around the globe. Maximilian de Lafayette claims there are exactly 12 of these bases around the world, in places like the Bermuda Triangle, Alaska, the Baltic Sea, probably one in the South China Sea. Retired Navy Admiral and oceanographer Tim Gallaudet insists there's an anomaly off the coast of Catalina Island in California that is definitely not natural, yet the military refuses to investigate. He himself suggests that it could be an entrance to some underwater facility, and the government is intentionally covering it up. Tim also talked about being chased while out at sea by underwater objects that move in irregular patterns and going faster than a torpedo, which is hundreds of kilometers an hour, with other former defense specialists claiming these USOs going faster than the speed of sound underwater, which is over 5,000 kilometers an hour. Reminder that most USO encounters are, of course, classified, which, if they don't want to tell us, can only get worse, and we're left wondering what's really down there. Congress recently passed the UAP Disclosure Act, a defense bill that is supposed to give we the people full transparency on government info about UAPs. Sounded promising, but then again, this is the government after all. If things are too good to be true, they probably are. The Pentagon actually amended the bill, literally stripping disclosure from a disclosure bill. What? Stating that they retain full control on what gets released and that they can hide anything about UAPs if it's a matter of national security. Which is their way of saying the Department of Defense can redact, classify, and destroy any UAP evidence if they feel like it. We're left sitting here in the dark on what in the world is happening in our oceans. And it's almost like our government doesn't want to investigate any of this at all. Because how can they investigate something that they don't want the world to know about? In April 2023, an alleged
Makes me feel like that these, let's say this is true, that they're the remnant of the 200 fallen angels in the Book of Enoch, and they're in the ocean.
Yeah, like those are just the fallen angels or demons.
And they've probably morphed the way they look because they've been on Earth for 14,000 years or more.
Yeah. You know, I really feel like it's time for them to just come forward, be honest. Enough of of hiding information in the shadows and claiming national security about wild things like this on our planet. I think they just need to just come out and let everybody know all of the information. They don't even have to summarize it. Just make it all available.
Which would be very unsettling because let's just say they are the 200 Watchers with this incredible technology they could just destroy us almost. What do you do? What do you do then?
Look, there's already signs that they're here. They're already letting out certain information and withholding other information. Like, I feel like you need to just be honest. 100%. Everything they know. Let everybody in the world know. Everybody. I don't believe that a certain subset of humans has the right to hide knowledge, especially if it could possibly affect them, from all of the world's population.
Well, I definitely agree with that.
And that's what's happening right now. And I just...
But my mind goes to the next thing, then what do we do with that?
We'll figure out what we do with that. Right now,
At
we
least
don't even know.
Right. At least if we know what we're dealing with and that there is, in fact, this force or 200 angels, archangels, that is
Honestly,
here,
yeah.
we can figure out what to... Our awareness is huge.
Yeah. I don't even think it really has anything to do with protection, which is what they would claim. We're protecting you. We're protecting you. It really has got to be more that they're getting some sort of benefit out of it that they don't want to share. Because other than that, I mean, it's like we're not 5-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? You're not our parents protecting us. That's not your job.
The people that are hiding it are power hungry, borderline psychopathic. They get off on hiding this and being the only ones that know really what's going on.
Yeah, I think they're actually receiving some sort of serious benefit.
And money, jobs.
Yes.
Power positions.
That is what I think it is, more than anything.
Google's new quantum chip is so powerful that it must have borrowed computational power from other universes. At least that's what this article says the founder of Google Quantum AI said. Likely you've already heard about this. If not, let me give you a refresher. So this is Google's latest quantum processor named Willow. And Willow's got some skills. You see, Willow performed a computation in under 5 minutes that would take one of today's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years. That exceeds the age of the universe. Before we dive into the parallel universe thing, let's talk about why quantum computing is so much faster than standard computing. So let's imagine you're getting ready for the day. You can't make a decision on what you want to wear until you wear all of the options. This shirt with this pants, this shirt with this pants, this shirt with this pants with these shoes, this shirt with this pants with these shoes, and so on and so forth. Standard computing would go one at a time. It would pick a pant and a shirt, and then it would swap out and try all the different shoes. If you have 10 shirts, 10 pants, 10 pairs of shoes, that is 1,000 unique combinations for you to try on. So how does it work with quantum computing? Well, quantum computing is like having a magical wardrobe. You can try on every single possible combination all at one time. And this is because quantum computers use something called a qubit. Standard computer, bits, quantum computer, qubits. A qubit exists in multiple states simultaneously. So by the time you're going up to the mirror to decide on what you want to wear, Quantum Wardrobe has already explored every single option for you. 5 minutes compared to 10 septillion years. That's a big deal. This is where parallel universes come in. Nevin states it leads credence to the notion that quantum computation occurs in many parallel universes in line with the idea that we live in a multiverse. First and foremost, I just want to state he did not say that it borrowed computational power from other universes. In my perception, what he was actually stating when he said this is that our ability to do this fits in coherence with the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. The many worlds interpretation simply suggests that all possible outcomes of a specific event actually happen in parallel universes. Going back to the wardrobe, there is a universe where every unique outfit was worn by you. Every single potential outcome actually occurred. You pick your outfit, ones that you didn't exist in a superposition state, and each potential outcome actually branches off into its own universe. I'll give you another example. You may have heard of Schrodinger's cat before. It's a thought experiment that came from 1935. Essentially, inside the box, there's a cat, a vial of poison, a radioactive atom, and a device that detects radiation. Radioactive atom has a 50% chance of decaying within the hour. If the device detects radiation, it triggers a device that smashes the vial of poison, which will kill the cat. If the atom does not decay, nothing is triggered, the cat is alive. After 1 hour, the box remains closed. Nobody knows whether the cat is alive or dead. The question is, what is the role of the observer? Does the act of observing force the cat into a state, alive versus dead? Does the cat's fate exist independently of whether we open the box? Well, according to the many worlds interpretation, in one universe, the cat is alive. In another universe, the cat is dead. Both possibilities exist, you can only experience one. Now, here's something really cool about this. A lot of times people who deal with spirituality will talk about timelines and manifesting your highest timeline. And it sounds like a lot of woo-woo. It's actually the same concept. The idea is that there are infinite timelines, infinite parallel universes where you exist. You may have heard of the show or the book, The Man in High Castle. The premise is essentially, what if Germany won World War II? How would the world look? It was written by Philip K. Dick. Interestingly enough, he says this is not something he made up, but rather he saw that timeline in a vision. Apparently that was the source of most of his books. The movie The Adjustment Bureau came from his book, The Adjustment Team. The idea is you exist in infinite possibilities. What's fascinating is you have a physical body and a light body. Light exists as a wave of possibility. When light interacts with an observation device, is forced into a singular state. That observation device forces a decision to be made. What's fascinating is anybody who is seasoned with meditation will tell you that you are able to kind of pull away as the observer. Pull away from the singular state that is your body. This is what's got my mind spinning right now. Is it possible that as you exist in your light body, you exist in infinite states, and pull in the state or timeline that serves you best, then collapse back into your singular state? Now that might sound like woo-woo, that might sound crazy. If you are observant enough, you will see just how closely computers are patterned after the human body, the human computer. If we can prove that it's possible for this, it's possible for you. And the craziest thing about all of this is whether you believe it's true or not, you are correct. Because you create that reality. You can be like a standard computer and fight every single day to change behavior. Or you can be like a quantum computer and realize that all those possibilities already exist and you already have it. Love you. Google's new quantum chip is so powerful that it...
Wow. He took that from quantum computing to manifestation, kind of.
I kind of see why they're drawing that light bulb going off, that this type of computing lends to the possibility of multiverse, because everything's kind of happening all at once, all at the same time, and it's infinite parallels.
Yeah.
So this type of qubit that can do that is like, it shows you that it's physically possible to run something like that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. The other interesting part for me is that the observer is playing a role just by observing. That just kind of blows my mind.
Well, here we go. Bible prophecy is being fulfilled right in front of our eyes. We have breaking news coming out of Syria right now, where the last big fight is happening in Damascus, where we have the Syrian opposition rebels reaching Damascus. So these Syrian opposition forces have reached the countryside around Damascus in a rapid advance. From the looks of it, Syria has fallen. Now you may be asking, how is this right here Bible prophecy? Well, I would love to show you. We can go to Isaiah chapter 17, the burden against Damascus. Behold, Damascus will cease from being a city, and it will be a ruinous heap. But through this destruction we see right here, the remnant of Syria, they will be as the glory of the children of Israel. Now I recommend for you to go to Isaiah chapter 17 and to read it on your own. And I understand how some people will say this has nothing to do with what's going on in Syria right now, but it's the convergence of events going on. Because it's not just a matter of this happening,
But this right here is just one puzzle piece to the full picture. Now, just like a puzzle, when you have one piece, you do not see the full picture. But once you start to connect each puzzle piece together, the full picture starts to become more and more clear. And that's exactly what's going on right now in this world, with Bible prophecy fulfilling right in front of our eyes, where one event on its own can be insignificant and mean nothing. But when you connect them to other puzzle pieces, you start to see the times that we live in. And this situation right here, which has the possibility of fulfilling Isaiah 17, is one of those puzzle pieces. Now, if you're new to Bible prophecy or ignorant to what's going on, and you're wondering some of the other puzzle pieces, well, I'll tell you some. Now, Israel becoming a nation again in 1948 is a huge puzzle piece because that sets the stage for Daniel's 70th week. Now, you can go to Daniel chapter 9 to see that prophecy, Daniel's 70th week, but Israel needs to be in the land again for that prophecy to be fulfilled, and they have been in the land for almost 80 years now. And that right there is a huge puzzle piece. But now we look at all the chaos and war happening around Israel, and we can go to Luke chapter 21 to see when armies surround Israel to look up for your redemption draws near. Now, besides Israel becoming a nation again, I believe the other biggest puzzle piece to show the times that we live in is the technology. And this technology now is at a point where the beast system can be implemented. The Antichrist will use technology to build his own kingdom with artificial intelligence, with surveillance, to mimic and try to be God with omnipresence and omnipotence through technology, the prince of the power of the air, which perfectly sets the stage for the mark of the beast to be implemented, where you will need to take something and worship the Antichrist, or you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade in this society. Oh, and we also have Revelation chapter 9, verse 6, how those individuals during the Great Tribulation will seek death, but they will not find it. And that fits pretty well with the transhumanist agenda of immortality, mixing man with machine, downloading your consciousness into the supercomputer AI hive mind, which goes back to the Tower of Babel, all becoming one. Just as we as believers in Jesus Christ become one with him and the Father, we see the Antichrist wanting to do the same thing with his bride, his unholy bride, where he wants to become one with the children of darkness, with his hive mind unity, all being connected to, I'm sure, the artificial intelligence, supercomputer, whatever scenario unfolds, but the technology is the foundation for the Antichrist to rule and reign down here with a mock millennial kingdom. Now, some other puzzle pieces that connect would be the earthquakes in diverse places, chaos with the weather in the world. We have the love of many growing cold. We have lawlessness abounding. We have pretty much, go to 2 Timothy chapter 3, the list of the end times. Every single one. Check it off. Check it off. So these are all puzzle pieces that are connecting. These are all things that show the times that we live in. And the final puzzle piece I will speak about here is how the church would go apostate in the end times, how the church would be worldly. It would be lukewarm, as we see in chapter 3 of Revelation. The Laodicea church is a lukewarm, worldly church. And right now, the majority of the church is apostate. But back to the main point of this video, this situation going down in Syria and Damascus has the possibility of fulfilling Isaiah 17, just adding another puzzle piece to the full picture of the end times situation that we are living in right now. Now, please understand, Bible prophecy is not meant to scare you. It is meant to encourage you and to equip you to be prepared for what's coming. And my desire is not for you to have anxiety. I want you to have peace that surpasses all understanding. And I want to leave you with this right here. Since we were going through Isaiah 17, I figured we might as well go to Isaiah 64. Since ancient times, no one has heard, no ear has perceived, no eye has seen any God besides you, who acts on behalf of those who wait for him. And we can go down a couple more verses to verse 8. But as for you, O Lord, you are our Father, and we are clay, and you are our potter. We are all the work of your hands. Because never forget, the one who made the stars calls you by name, and he loves you so much that he gave the ultimate sacrifice to save you for all eternity. For those who do not know, the way that you are saved for all eternity is trusting and believing, having faith in the Son of God, who is Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, that he lived the perfect life for you. He paid your sin penalty on the cross. He was buried for 3 days, and he rose on the third day to prove that he is the one who can conquer sin and death. And you shall also rise like him with a resurrected, glorified body if you trust and believe in him. It is childlike faith that saves. That is the gospel. Do you believe? Do you trust? If you believe on the Lord, you shall be saved. You and your household. Acts 16, verse 31. We also have Romans chapter 10. Those who call upon the Lord shall be saved. Call upon him. Trust in him. It is a heart posture. It is your heart's desires. He wants your heart. He does not want your religion. He wants your heart. He wants a relationship with you. That is why he tells people in Matthew 7, 21 to 23, depart from me, I never knew you. He wants to know you, and the way that you know him and that he knows you is by trusting in him, and that is the gospel right there. So with that, guys, things are exciting, things are escalating, but we continue to focus upon him, keeping our eyes on him, for he is the author and the perfecter of our faith, Hebrews 12:2, and we are also conforming to him, transformed by the renewing of our mind. And we are a living sacrifice to him, Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. We live for him, and we follow him down here. And when you do that, the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guard your heart and your mind. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 through 8. I love you all so much, okay? This is encouraging. It's scary. We need to pray for those in Syria. There's plenty of brothers and sisters in the faith in Syria that are going through horrific things that we cannot comprehend. And it is such a crazy world where we can sit here in a Western world and we have comforts of a roof over our head and food and water. And there's brothers and sisters completely in a totally different world, which is practically hell to them. But they shall be glorified in the Lord and they shall receive the reward in eternity. But we pray for them, and I love you, and I hope that your eyes are open to the times that we live in, that it causes urgency, that it causes you to go out there and share the gospel, to wake others up, and to really establish your heart, for the coming of the Lord is near. James chapter 5, verse 8. God bless, and remember, the just shall live by faith. Well, here we go. Bible prophecy is being fulfilled.
Yeah, he makes a good point. That whole prophecy part of Isaiah of Damascus, linked with Israel as well. And dude, it just seems like it's getting closer and closer. And I think everybody naturally in their heads thinks, okay, how am I going to get out of this? What's my way to kind of sidestep what might be coming, right? And ultimately, there's not going to be a sidestep.
No.
Right?
That's why you got to get just spiritually right.
Exactly. That's the only way.
These are the puzzle pieces coming together for us to just really know to get spiritually right.
Yeah.
Because there is no way out.
Right. And your best defense, truly your best defense, isn't necessarily just stocking up food or whatever it may be. Your best defense is to get close to God.
Have that conversation.
Right, so that you can hear him, so that you can follow direction and make the right moves.
Exactly. You got to open up those communication channels, not dive into this hive mind. I like how he did this hive mind thing, because that's like a big deal, right? This transhumanism, this mark of the beast. You can't lose that connection to God in that process, or you're done.
Yeah. All right, do us a huge favor, guys. Seriously, hit that like button down below. It would really help the channel and really make a difference for this channel. Other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.